Alright, y'all, let's go to the movies. Another double featured day, a bit of a theme. So first movie is Late Night with the Devil, and the second one is Immaculate. I'm a little sneezy. Let's go. Alright, let's talk about it. I'm in the theater for the next movie. So that was Late Night with the Devil, directed by the Cairns brothers, stars David Dastmalchian. Before I get into the review of things, I feel like I should mention there is some controversy surrounding this movie. And I'm glad I just happened to open Twitter for no good reason when I did. Because I open up Twitter and the first tweet I see is a tweet about this movie talking about AI. I didn't know anything about this movie before I got a ticket. I'd heard about it kind of offhand as I was searching through to see what movies would be coming out this month, and saw the name, but just saw it was a limited release. I figured, I probably won't get to see it, so I didn't look into it any further. And then as I was searching for movies to watch this week, saw that it was coming to my theater, so went ahead and snagged a ticket, but didn't know anything about the movie, synopsis, nothing. So this news about controversy surrounding AI and this movie was, a sad little shock. Now, it's a shock because I just found out. So what it is apparently AI was used to create like 3 images of artwork or something like that, like 20 seconds of artwork, like title cards in the movie were AI generated. Given the strikes that happened last year, there's definitely controversy on the use of AI in film, and the idea that using AI takes away jobs, or even using AI for artwork is stealing artwork. This movie was filmed in 2022, before any of the strikes happened. This is a low-budget independent film, so not a whole lot of money to go around. It's possible they didn't really have the money to hire someone for the artwork. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't really looked that far into it. It's a sad little shock because this movie is damn good. So this is a horror movie. I would stick this in the found footage subgenre, like Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity. This movie takes place in the 70s. It's supposedly, old footage of an episode from the Night Owls with Jack Delroy. It's a fictional late night television show. Jack Delroy is trying to compete with some of these bigger late night talk show host Johnny Carson, trying to make it to the big time but can't quite get the ratings down. We get this nice little intro about Jack Delroy and his intro to television, his wife's death, and then, he makes a comeback and he has one last opportunity to get those ratings up and, really compete with the big guys. And he decides to do this special little Halloween episode talking about the heavy interest in the occult that was happening in real time in the 70s, and brings on this medium guy to talk to the dead or whatever, and then brings out this woman who is a parapsychologist and her study, which is this young girl who was part of this cult, and supposedly she is possessed. And this all plays out like a television show. It's like we're watching an episode of television, and then when it breaks for commercial, we have this behind the scenes, almost like home video footage of, Jack and all the guests and him interacting with the crew and whatnot to kind of fill in that empty space. But for the most part, it's like we're watching an episode of television. I feel like this is what horror is supposed to be. It's supposed to not just, be jump scary and make you shriek back, but it's supposed to play with your senses and make you uncomfortable and, mess with reality, even for a little bit. This movie does that very, very well in a short amount of time. It's barely an hour and a half. David Dastmalchian, and I'm afraid I am saying his name horribly incorrect, but he was most recently in Oppenheimer. He was also in The Last Voyage of the Demeter, if I remember correctly. But if you're like, who is that? If you've seen The Dark Knight, you've seen him. He is the paranoid schizophrenic, that he has in the ambulance. That's him. He's incredible in this. He's great. I imagine this kind of acting with this kind of story can be very difficult because you have to act, but also be realistic at the same time. It's almost, you have to pretend to be real. Does that make sense? This is a demon possession movie, but on a much smaller scale. And what I like about demon possession movies is we're talking about one of two things. We're touching on one of two things. We're talking about either meddling in things we have no business, or, unresolved trauma. And that's how the devil gets in. In this case, this is meddling in things we have no business. Jack Delroy's obsession with getting to the top by any means necessary allowed this door to open, and now he has to pay the consequences. The devil or demons in these movies often become a metaphor for either, the open door, that empty space where the unresolved trauma lies when we're not dealing with that pain, or in this case, it's a metaphor for unchecked misdeeds. When you decide to go the immoral route to get what you want, these are the consequences. Even though this movie was filmed in 2022 and they have access, even with a limited budget, to 2022 technology, a lot of the special effects here are very in camera, very practical effects, not a whole lot of CGI, and the style of these effects are very true to the time. This isn't just a throwback or an homage to the 70s, but it's an homage and a throwback to 70s style television, and also, 70s style scary movies.